welcome back to Sit-ins with Sid with your girl Sid. So, y'all, I don't even know where to start. My week, like this past month or so, has been very, very, very stressful. My emotions have been completely all over the place, and honestly, I was just like, there was points where I just really didn't feel like getting out of bed. I was being like really lazy, crying all the time, but that's nothing new because I cry all the time. I'm an emotional person. So I was just like, it was a lot of burnout, I felt, and like I said, it was just like a lot of stuff going on personally that I just felt like I really couldn't deal with. And I just shut down at one point and just blocked everything out. And, I was always like, I'm always, looking at different things now that I have started this spiritual journey. And so one thing that I kept seeing that has kept popping up is shadow working. And I've heard of that, but from what I heard, I was just like, shadow working sounds like, really demonic. And I'm not trying to have God, being like, oh, you want to play? Okay. All right. And then like something bad happened and I attract the wrong spirits or whatever. But that is not what it is. That was just me just going off like shadow working. Like, no, I don't want to do anything with shadows or anything like that. So then I follow my friend's younger sister, and she has a spiritual page, and on this spiritual page she's just like, she posts like different things. So one thing she posted was an 18-day prompt on shadow working. And I thought it was really interesting. And I was like, I keep seeing shadow working, and I'm a firm believer in everything is a sign. So I'm like, let me start this because, I'm just like hitting a wall at this point. So it was an 18-day challenge. And, with shadow working, it's when you recall past traumas or unhealthy patterns to work and to fully understand them so you can heal and ultimately better yourself. So the shadow part is, your past self, where you made mistakes, that unhappy part that you tried to bury and move on with your life. And, in order to love yourself and to feel comfortable in your own skin, you have to learn how to be uncomfortable. And, that's something that I always wanted to do, but I was never ready until now. I feel like, certain things were happening in my life because it was just showing me that I need to face some unhealthy patterns or toxic relationships that I have with people, with myself, and realize that I need to, be okay and acknowledge those things, because that is part of me, that dark part, that things that people tuck away, like that's part of you. And just as much as you embrace the great things about you, you also need to embrace the bad things, because those are what makes you you. And don't look at them so much as a like negative part of you, but look at it as if this never happened, I wouldn't have learned this. Like, if I was perfect, then I would not, I wouldn't learn anything. So sometimes, when doing this journey, I realized that, I realized I'm like super like burpy today, if that's a word. But sometimes within this shadow working, what I noticed is that these feelings, experiences that we have repressed in our memory, Shawty, you already said that, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, but what I have learned within the shadow working is I learned a lot about myself. And that's where I gained the thing of like, these aren't always negative things. Like, of course, I'm not happy with everything that I've done in my life, the choices that I have made. But I feel like if I never went down that road, if I never went through that, dark stage in my life, I wouldn't be as strong, or I wouldn't be as genuine, or I wouldn't be as understanding and grateful as I am now. So, some of the prompts that were given to me were, write a letter to your future self. Talk about your family. What are some relationships that you have that, may be toxic, or, why do you hold on to these relationships, or how would you react in this situation? And, just different things that made you look at different aspects of your life, like not just you, but the people around you. And that is just to show, like, sometimes the people around you are what is holding you back, is what's making you toxic, is creating that negative energy of you giving off. So it definitely opened my eyes, and it definitely made me realize and take a step back from just people in general and just focus on me. Which I think a lot of people need to do sometimes. So I'm going to give you guys some pros and cons that I have found from shadow working. So I will start with the pros first. The first one is clear perception. In seeing others and yourself as you are, you'll have a cleaner lens. When integrating your shadow self and authentic self, it gives you more realistic assessment of who you are when you're self-aware and can assess your environment a lot better. And when it says cleaner lens, and also when it says realistic assessment, I feel like when you are in that dark mindset, you only see things how you want to see them. And doing this, it makes you look at all aspects. Like I said, you focus on different parts of yourself and different parts of the people that you're dealing with, and why they may be doing those things or interacting with you the way that they are. But you can be so one-minded and just very closed-minded that you don't see these relationships as this gonna mess you up. Like, you don't need to be hanging around these people, or you don't need to be surrounded by these people, or you need to get out. Like, you need to move out ASAP. And it gives you a clearer perception, and it just makes you evaluate your environment, and if that is a positive environment, because what people don't understand is the environment that you put yourself in really can affect your mood and the way that you act. And simply, as much as like I'm always tired, you may feel drained. So yeah, it definitely opened my eyes and made me see things from a different perspective. The second one is improve relationships. When you accept your own darker parts of yourself, you can accept others. You become more grounded and whole. People's behavior will be less triggering. I feel like, certain people that you surround yourself with, just because you hang out with them and you've been friends with them for so long doesn't mean that they're supposed to go into the next chapter of your life. No, that longevity has like absolutely nothing to do with that. If that person is draining and that person is toxic and that's what they, enjoy doing, and you're trying to be on a different status, or you're trying to move in a different direction, and it's never going to happen, because you have that person still integrated with you, and the company you keep will rub off on you eventually. All companies not good companies. So yeah, so also, improve relationships. This also, like, when you start to see the mistakes that you have made, you start to be like, damn, like, girl, you was messing up. Like, you was really messing up. And sometimes we hold grudges against people, and we'll be like, oh, well, like, I don't understand why that person would do that to me. Like, how could they do that to me? Like, they are this, they are X, Y, and Z. Like, I hate them, I never want to talk to them again. And it's just like, there are some messed up people in the world. There's some sick people out here, but you also have to realize that, just as much as you are human and you have your own shadows, other people have their own shadows. And you know, every day we're growing. So you can't hold what somebody did to you in high school to now. Like, or you can't hold somebody to what you did in elementary school to now. Like, that's a big difference. Maturity comes in, you know, you learn different things, you experience different things, you're educated in different things, and you start to accept people. And you know, some things that have been triggering, or the things that, you know, people have said to get under your skin, you'll realize, like, I know myself and I know what I'm comfortable with, so I won't even let you in my space to like trigger me or to get on my nerves. Like, people have like said things that like usually would trigger me, but then I'm just like, go on now with that shit. And that's exactly how I feel. Like, I feel like it's not so much of like oh my god, like I have to keep these people in my life. It's just like, I mean, if you want to leave at this point, then leave, because I want to have good company. Like, I don't want to have that, you know, toxicness in my life. And like, you know, I just don't want to have that. So I'm more likely to just be like, okay, like if that's a decision you want to make, then make that. Like, I'm not finna force you to stay around me. If that makes sense. Not really sure. And one more thing is like, you know, improve relationships. Like, me and my mom, we had a rocky relationship for a while. And I always felt like, you know, my mom was never understanding of me, and she never really understood, you know, who I was as a person. And sometimes I took that off as her like writing me off. So we always were at odds. And like for a long time, I was just like, I don't like this person. Like, I don't like she's just not somebody that I want to be around. But at that point, I was in a very dark space. And then, you know, as I did start this spiritual journey, I was like, girl, I'm surprised my mom didn't whoop me. Like, like, I'm surprised because, you know, I was very mean to my mom. And I was very like, you are this, and put a lot of my problems on my mom. And, you know, one day I just sat down and I like actually apologized to my mom for everything, because she's the person in my life that has done the most for me. Like, whether she was angry with me or anything like that, she would always make sure that I was okay. Like, and I just had to sit there and realize that. It took me a very long time to realize that. And, you know, the things that I've said to her, I may not, I can't take back. So, you know, I just wanted to give her that apology and be like, you know what, like, acknowledge my faults in that. So me and my mom, we have a closer relationship now. And we're just more, I feel like, open and understanding. Probably on my end, because I was in that dark space. So that was an improved relationship that I was definitely happy. And I feel like that was a conversation that we just needed to have. The third one is enhanced energy. You know, when you are in a dark space, you don't really want to do anything. You want to crawl into a ball and not do the things that you would regularly do. And it can be draining and it can be very exhausting. So one thing that I felt like after I did that, and you know, it just felt like a weight was lifted off of me. Like, wow, I feel lighter. Like, I actually want to get on the floor right now and do some yoga. Like, I want to do a handstand. I cannot do a handstand. So that was an epic fail. And I definitely had somebody, you know, my grandpa, just break in the door and be like, what you doing in it? And I was like, you know what? Never again. So, yeah, those are the 3 pros that I did find, and those are definitely top tier, I have to say. Some cons, I really didn't have a lot, but a con for me was I was just emotional. But like I said, and I say in every video, I'm an emotional person. I am very in tune to my feelings. So like, I was crying for, that thing was 18 days, bro. I was crying for 17 of those days. So yes, it was definitely emotional. And I don't like getting emotional because I just feel like it just takes a lot out of me, and I just feel like ill. And at times, you know, I did feel defeated. I felt like I'm learning all this bad stuff about me. I am a horrible person. And that's what I felt like. But as time goes on, you start to learn, that that's part of life. Like, there's going to be times where you feel like you're on top, and there's going to be times where you feel like you're defeated. But you know, in the end, it all works out. So in conclusion, you know, shadow working is a very, very, very emotional process, but it is definitely worth it. And, you know, I think everybody should experience that. If you're not ready to unfold those secrets and actually take that step of learning things and digging into your past and digging into your trauma, then I would say hold off. And whenever you're ready, then go out and do that shadow work. And if you got to cry all 18 days, cry all 18 days. There's nothing wrong with crying, and there's nothing wrong with being in tune with your feelings like me. And you know, the best thing about this is it gives you clarity and it gives you awareness. Two things that I feel like are very, 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 very well needed in adulthood. So, you know, give it a try. I will link her Instagram below, and yeah, I'll link that below. So for you, if you guys do want to try. So thanks for tuning in, bros. Thanks, my buzzing bees. See ya.